Una conversazione con la pianista Beatrice Rana. Beatrice Rana è nata a Copertino, in Italia, nel 1993. Cresciuta in una famiglia di musicisti, ha tenuto la sua prima esibizione orchestrale a soli 9 anni. Ha studiato con Benedetto Lupo a Monopoli e successivamente con Arie Vardi ad Hannover, affermandosi come una delle pianiste più importanti della sua generazione. Vincitrice del concorso internazionale di Montreal e medaglia d'argento al concorso Van Cliburn, oggi si esibisce con le più grandi orchestre del mondo. Le sue registrazioni per Warner Classics includono le variazioni Goldberg di Bach e i concerti di Schumann, entrambi ampiamente acclamati. In questa conversazione scoprirete perché Beatrice Rana è diventata una voce unica nel mondo della musica classica di oggi. Il suo fascino napoletano è irresistibile. Le sue riflessioni sul ruolo della musica in un mondo conflittuale sono profonde e sincere. La sua arte unisce intelletto ed emozione in perfetto equilibrio. Grazie per averci seguito. Mettete un mi piace, iscrivetevi al canale e scaricate la vostra copia di Balancing the Scales of Classical Music, ora disponibile su atlantamusiccritic.com.
Good to meet you.
Yes, also for me.
I'm looking forward to our conversation. I've, of course, heard and read so much about you. It's a pleasure to actually meet you.
Thank you.
I'm a psychologist, and of course, I like music, but one of the things that I like to do is to talk about somebody's background so I can help my viewers understand how they got to be in the positions that they are today. I know that you come from a musical family, but first, let's begin with, where were you born?
I was born in southern Italy, in the city of Lecce. So if Italy is a boot, then Puglia is the high heel of the boot. I was born and I have been growing up in this family of pianists because both my mom and my dad are pianists. And then later I had a sister. I mean, she's 2 years younger than me, and she ended up being a cellist.
Do you remember when your first contact with a piano was?
No, I don't remember because I've been listening to the piano even before I was born. So somehow the sound of piano has been part of my life since the very first day of my life. Let's put it this way, I don't remember one day of my childhood without the piano.
Do you remember a day or a period of time when you said to yourself, I really do want to make this a career?
Yes, certainly yes. But that happened much later in my life because I started to play the piano when I was three and a half. And as soon as I got in high school, basically I was attending the conservatory to study music, but then I was doing normal schools. So I started to do a scientific high school, therefore specialized in mathematics and chemistry and physics. And I was surrounded by people that were thinking where to apply for college, for university. And that was the moment where I questioned myself. Do I really want to be a pianist, or should I give myself another option? As soon as I started to think about that, I realized very soon that I couldn't live without music. I couldn't imagine myself without music.
When you were 3, did you play a full-size piano?
That's what we had at home, already the big piano.
Your parents, were they your early teachers on piano?
No, they didn't want to teach me because they always wanted to somehow take it separately because, of course, I mean, it started as a game. I was going to these collective classes with a lot of kids, just learning music and approaching the piano rather than practicing the instrument. So it was, I think, a nice way to just get closer to music with people of my age. And then when I later got a bit more serious in the business, that was with other people because my parents knew how difficult it is to study music. They were sure of the fact that I would meet some parents and a shoulder where to cry on if the lesson was not good.
How did your sister pick up the cello?
Oh, she was the rebel one. She was like, oh, too many pianos. So
So
she loved the cello.
does she have a professional career of her own?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She's a wonderful chamber musician, and sometimes we also play together. That's something we enjoy very much.
Do you play professionally together?
Professionally, we tour together.
I was looking at your tour schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about every 2 to 3 days you're in another city, sometimes up to a week, depending on the distances.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that?
Yes, this is part of my professional life. And what does it mean? Sometimes I don't even realize that I am in different cities because there is not simply there is no time to explore and to visit anything. So the only thing that I get to realize every time is, of course, the fact that I have to take a plane, change country. And sometimes it's absolutely fantastic because I get to discover new places and new cultures, new people. And this is really the gift of such profession. On the other hand, many times, as I said, I don't even realize where I am. That's the sad part.
You've traveled pretty much the world over. Do you notice a difference in the audiences between those various places?
Completely. Completely. It's so different. And that's why I'm so grateful that despite globalization, there is still such an identity as a country. And I think it's very, I mean, for instance, I remember very well the first time I was in the US. I was absolutely shocked by the reaction of the audience, which was so different from the European one. The US is so generous and so enthusiastic. I would say, really almost in a primitive way, which I like very much because we come from the old continent, which is full of sophistication, and therefore it takes really so much to get people to be really enthusiastic about the concert. For instance, Japan was also shocking because their applause is absolutely as their personality, so respectful and so organized. I remember walking on stage with the applause, and then as soon as I was sitting down the piano, the applause stopped all of a sudden. They stopped altogether. They were organized even in this aspect. So absolutely every country has a personality.
I was speaking with conductor Joanne Folletta, and she was saying that when she was in Japan, she noticed that what you described about the applause, but when she walked off, the applause would stop. And when she would walk back on for an encore, it would start up again.
Every place is different. It's always inspiring.
Have you found places that are particularly difficult to get them to express their appreciation for what you've done?
I mean, generally speaking, I think that the most difficult countries are the ones with, of course, with the biggest amount of culture. So, for instance, to play Beethoven in Germany is always a statement because Beethoven was born there, and it's a religion there. And of course, people get to listen to Beethoven every day from top musicians, and therefore they are used to have such a high standard of listening. So that, of course, is a challenge for someone that makes this life.
Have you ever had the experience of doing a performance and you walk away from it and you say to yourself, "Oi, that was not good"?
Oh, yeah, so many times.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's normal. I think it's absolutely part of life. That doesn't mean that I didn't put all myself in a concert. It means that we are humans, and sometimes the concert is a surprise in a good way, and sometimes it doesn't work, or sometimes I can be pissed off with the instrument or the acoustic, or someone in the audience that is noisy. I mean, there are so many factors, and this is all belonging to humanity. And I think that's perfectly fine.
When you disappoint yourself, independent of things like the
No, I
acoustic?
don't disappoint myself.
Okay.
I'm not disappointed from myself. I just think that I never think it was a catastrophe. There is always something that could be improved, or I should do that way the next time. And it's a process. It's a state of mind. The stage is not a judge, but it's a place to grow up with. That's something different. So it's not. It's like it would be like to say, oh, I lived today and I go to bed disappointed. I don't go to bed disappointed. I just think, oh, today was not a great day, but tomorrow will be better. That's it.
If you have a performance that wasn't up to your standard, is it usually because of your musical interpretation or because of the technical aspects of playing? Musical.
Absolutely. And of course, I am a professional, so it's quite standard, the technical aspect. Of course, there are certain things, but it's small variations. And but of course, the musical aspect is definitely more unpredictable.
You've obviously played with many orchestras, with many conductors, and I don't expect you to name names, but have there been instances where it hasn't gone well with a conductor or an orchestra?
Well, with an orchestra, not really. With conductors, really, I would just say a couple of times. But again, that's like real life. You can't be friends with all the people you meet on your way. So that's exactly what happened with conductors. There are certain conductors that you just love immediately, and you feel so comfortable and so into the music from the first moment. There are some that you need to work on it to understand each other, and then there are those. I have to say, really, in my life it happened only twice. It didn't work.
Would the audience have known that it didn't work?
No.
That's good. You mentioned about the acoustics in various places. What acoustic do you feel most comfortable in? Can you describe that?
Well,
Highly reverberant, dry, whatever.
I don't like that kind of dry and cold acoustics that are incredibly analytical, but I prefer to be hugged by the acoustic of the hall. I love to play in a wooden hall that is just resonating as the piano is doing. I think that is really, really important for me.
Is your career mostly made up of individual recitals or as a soloist with orchestras, or is it a healthy mix?
It's, I would say, 30% recitals, 70% orchestra.
When you go to an orchestra, I assume the very first thing you do is sit down with the conductor to talk about where you want to go with it. And then you get into rehearsals. Is that right?
Yeah.
Apparently you have pianos that don't do it for you.
Yes, it can happen to have an instrument that is not great. It really sucks when it happens because piano is the instrument that I need to express. And if there is an instrument that is not able to express what I have in mind, that's a real pity.
So it's just not the touch of it, but it's the sound of it, the responsiveness, and so on.
Yeah, there are so many aspects in a piano. I mean, even for pianists, this is difficult to understand because the piano is such a sophisticated machine. It makes an immense difference when the mechanic responds well, but also when the sound is good and projecting in the hall, not being shy. I mean, we play in bigger and bigger halls. It's important to have an instrument with sound.
You mostly play Steinway, or
yeah?
How is it that you're coming to Spivey Hall in Atlanta? Could you just fit it in and say, yeah, I'll do that? Or was there some other agenda?
No, I love Spivey Hall. I have been there already twice in the past. And actually, the last time they were, I mean, they were really nice because I was in the middle of a recital tour and somehow my flight completely messed up and I was stuck in San Francisco. And I couldn't make the recital because I was in San Francisco. I should have flown overnight and playing at Spivey. And somehow I was stuck in San Francisco and couldn't get on time for the recital. So we rescheduled it for a few months later. they were so nice to find a date, and we made it work. And what I love very much about Spivey Hall is, I mean, there are many things, but the piano technician is great.
Do you find you have to adjust your playing to the acoustics?
Well, of course. It's the same as if you're speaking to one person, two persons, five persons, 10 persons, 100 persons. It's exactly the same. Related to the amount of persons you're talking to, you change your voice. And that's exactly the same with the acoustic.
Your judgment of the acoustics and how you adjust to it, is that based on you sitting at the piano and listening to what's going on, or does somebody give you feedback from inside the auditorium?
It depends. If I'm lucky enough to have someone that can listen in the hall, then that's very helpful. Most of the time when I'm on tour or in recital, I am alone, so I have to judge myself from what comes out from the stage. And I mean, and now it's easier because I've been playing so much. And of course, I am much more experienced. At first, when I started to do this career, it was very difficult. I didn't have so much experience with that.
I noticed that you're playing 2 Prokofiev pieces. Do you have a particular affinity for Prokofiev?
I have always loved Prokofiev's music. I think it is so incredibly powerful, and powerful to me as a performer, but to the audience as well. The reason why I chose these 2 pieces is that we are so privileged to make such a beautiful life, to share the best parts of life with everyone. And when everyone goes to concert is for a nice time, no? To have a nice time. So that's an immense privilege, I find. But it's also true that being so much traveling in the world makes myself a real citizen of the world. I can't ignore what's happening in the world right now. And when this sonata was composed, the 6th sonata, this is the first of the war sonatas. And this was composed in 1945, so at the end of the Second World War. And, it's quite a brutal piece. And, for example, it's the only piece of Prokofiev that says col pugno, so using this on the keyboard. So it's quite a violent piece, amazing piece of music. There is also so much tenderness. But I wanted to pair this with the Romeo and Juliet. I start the recital program with Romeo and Juliet because what's my perspective is that there is not such issue as great wars. I mean, of course, the great wars are the extreme result. But war starts when there is an argument inside the family, when there is violence inside the family, and when there is no way to understand what's more important. I mean, Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy of 2 families hating each other. And the kind of violence that comes out is actually even more painful. And so to say, I think that it's also about pointing out that it's true that there are situations that are really bigger than us, but that we can make a difference in our own life, deciding to be on the peaceful side. And for me, that is very important in such a period of our history that is so complicated.
Well said. Thank you. You're also doing Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, that's to bring some beauty in between all this violence.
Do you have composers that you have a particular affinity for?
For me, Bach is always the answer. I mean, I love each one of them so much, and I spend so much time with these people, and it's my real privilege to spend so much time with all these people. But I think that Bach is just a god.
I know you've recorded several albums of his music.
Yeah, I have dedicated so much. I still dedicate so much to this composer. It's an endless source of inspiration.
What is it about Bach in your perception that's so great?
The capacity to combine. I mean, everyone looks at Bach as a god, as I said myself few seconds later, but it's not true because it's true that he's so spiritual, but at the same time, it's so human. I mean, he was the father of 20 plus children and teaching music to each one of them. And I find this humanity incredible in his music. And the combination of this humanity with the spirituality is absolutely perfect.
When you come again to Spivey, how much time do you get to spend practicing on their instrument?
Half of the time that I'm spending in Atlanta, probably. That's very likely. Well, because the recital at Spivey is at 3 p.m. So I don't know yet if I'm arriving there the day before or 2 days before. But ideally, the concert day, because it's at 3 p.m., then I don't like to get too tired for the concert. So I would say a couple of hours before the recital. Normally, if it was an evening concert, I would spend more time.
Do you practice on the road other than getting to the place you're going to perform and working on their instrument? Like, do you have a fake keyboard you carry with you?
No, please. Oh my God. That would be a torture.
So no practicing on the road.
Oh, no.
Okay. When you are playing with an orchestra when you're on tour, do you usually tell them what you want to play, or do they say,
Yeah.
this is what we're looking for?
The more I go, the more I can decide what to play, of course. I mean, when I started this life, I didn't have much option. Now I mean, unless there is a very specific desire from the conductor, and in that case, we usually speak before and discussing about what to do. Usually, orchestras are welcoming what I suggest.
You may have an agreement that could be a year before just because of the way that orchestras more. Okay.
A couple of years.
Are there particular pieces you like to play with an orchestra?
There are great concertos that are pure joy to play because the orchestra plays so much, because the audience loves it so much. I mean, for example, there is this piece that I've been playing so many times in my life, and I never get tired of it. And this is the Tchaikovsky First Concerto. It is just such a wonderful piece of music.
What makes that a wonderful piece of music for you?
On so many levels, it's such a great piece. There are great melodies, and the architecture is just perfect, and these huge dimensions, and the sophistication of the orchestration, and also the technical challenge for the piano, which makes such a huge concerto to play. It's always an accomplishment to play it. Like, yes, I did it, and there is a sense of satisfaction when I play it.
Do you have piano heroes?
Oh, yes, absolutely. When I was a baby, really, my idol would be Marta Argerich. I absolutely adored her. I still adore her from the past. Horowitz, Richter, Clara Askill, and from present, I mean, of course, being Italian, Michelangelo and Pollini has been clearly part of really fantastic pianists.
You compete in a very talented pool.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But luckily, it's not a competition.
Yeah, true. Where do you see your career going? Are you going to continue to do what you're doing, do you think? Do you ever have an interest in teaching?
I'm always tempted to teach because I like to have a connection with the younger generation. And also because it's a very selfish reason, but I learn a lot by teaching. But the reality is that I don't have enough time now. And I think that teaching requires a lot of time. So definitely this is something that I would love to explore more in the future, but I would love to find a nice place to do it. I couldn't do that everywhere. So it should be a nice environment.
Does your schedule slow down in the summertime?
Yes and no. Yes, because concert-wise I play less than in winter, but no, because during the summer I organize my festival, which keep me busy on another level. So I'm the founder and artistic director of this festival in Lecce, where I was born. And it's something that I love very much. And of course, this is a lot of work. And since from next year, I will be also artistic director of the Spoleto Festival, always in Italy, but it's a very big festival. And I think this is also a nice part of my artistic life. This gives me more chance to explore the artistic scene, to invite artists that I admire, and to have a connection to the musical world, because otherwise pianists tend to be quite solitary as instrumentalists.
When you're planning for your festival, do you decide on what the repertoire is going to be?
Everything, yes.
What do you try to accomplish in terms of repertoire?
I just want to delete the kind of prejudice that there is with classical music. There are a lot of prejudice, and people think that Beethoven is good and, I don't know, Alkan is terrible, or Tchaikovsky is good and Taneyev is terrible. And this is because they know Beethoven and Tchaikovsky, but they don't know Taneyev and Alkan, which most of the time is a prejudice. And I try just to program good music, because it's also true that despite being both Beethoven and Tchaikovsky great composers, sometimes they did compositions that were not so great. And this is not a negative judgment, it's just the reality, because they were also human. And I just try to program the most beautiful music that I know, because I think that people deserve, first of all, to enjoy good music, and second, to discover neglected composer, but also neglected artists. There are so many great artists that maybe for very different reasons they don't want, or they don't have an international career, but they deserve to be listened. And I put great artists and unknown artists, great composers, unknown composers on all the same stage.
How long does the festival in your town last?
8 days.
8 days. And Spoleto will last how long?
And Spoleto is 2 weeks long, right before then.
Do you have the same goals for both of them?
It's two completely different festivals. Of course, Spoleto is such an institution. I mean, it has been founded by Giancarlo Menotti, and it is really one of those huge festivals where orchestras come, opera, and big recitals are there. My festival is a more familiar one, completely devoted to chamber music. But for sure, one thing I have in common that is obviously quality, top quality.
When you're doing Spoleto, do you make financial decisions while you're...
No, luckily not.
Okay. So you don't have to deal with the budget end of it?
Not at all.
Okay.
I am just doing the music programmation, and then there is the director that takes care of the whole festival, because the festival is not just music, but it's ballet, cinema, theater. So there are so many aspects. I have a budget, but then I have a person that works with me that deals with that, because I absolutely hate talking about money.
Anything you want to say in the end?
Oh no, I'm quite happy. I hope you are too.
Oh, it's great. Absolutely great. Yeah, and you're so
fantastic.
forthcoming. I really appreciate that.
Oh no, absolutely. It's such a pleasure to talk to you.
And it's great to talk to somebody who has such a great career going for them. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. I hope to see you in person when I'm coming to Atlanta.
I will try to get a chance to see you.
Fantastic. I count on that.
Hey, thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.